About which industry we are going to target, I would say that there are two different variations to this question. One is we target all the large companies, mostly I would say billion-dollar kind of companies, and then within that also I see a lot of work for digital and mobile applications that are going into SAFE, all right? And then we'll take more questions after some time. So let's wait for everyone. Hello everyone, good evening again. This is Siraj from Temenos Agility. We are partnering with Knowledgehut to provide this webinar on the Scaled Agile Framework with a focus on career opportunities and industry outlook. To begin with, first of all, let me welcome you and thank you for your curiosity around this new framework. And I call it new because it's been around in the industry for about 3.5 years. While there has been a lot of talk about Agile for almost 2 decades now at a team level, and maybe some of you are practitioners of either Scrum, Kanban, or other Agile methods at a team level, there has not been a solid and well-respected framework for applying Agile at an enterprise scale. And by enterprise scale, what I mean is team of teams, hundreds of people working on the same application or the same product or the same project together. So what I've done is I'm showing you the publicly available framework website, which if you go here, scaledagileFramework.com, you'll be able to see this. And here's the beauty of this framework. It's available publicly for any one of you to criticize and to comment. And then here's the next part. You can click any of the icons here and you get a detailed analysis and understanding of all aspects of that particular icon. And in this case, I've clicked, I would say, maybe the #1 aspect of Scaled Agile Framework, which is the release planning icon. And you can see how much of detail they've provided on everything, including over here, for instance, the agenda for a 2-day release planning event and some explanations. The other part of this framework, which I really like, is that it's publicly available for comment and criticism. So you could participate in the creation of this framework. Just go to scaledagileframework.com. I wanted to share a little bit about myself also. And I got into Scaled Agile Framework in 2012. I was leading probably the biggest SAFE pilot experiment at a bank called Capital One, and we had a very successful experiment, and we had close to 40 Agile Release Trains, and I'll explain what Agile Release Trains are in a minute, with more than 600 teams. It's a massive, massive experiment of a huge enterprise going Agile, and if some of you have worked with either your customers who are large enterprises or for your own company, which is a large enterprise, you know how challenging it is to move from waterfall or Scrum to a large-scale enterprise process. All right, let's talk a little bit about why we are doing SAFE, why should you personally consider an SPC, and then why India, and what's the opportunity for SPCs in India. So when I talk about why SAFE, I think the main challenge is to scale up. Companies don't know how to scale up, how to grow from maybe 1, 2, or 5 teams all the way to 20, 30, and hundreds of teams. And that's why there is a framework like this. The possibility is for a company to start with a complete blank slate and then to figure out what works for them. And that has its own challenges, as we all know. The other possibility is to go with a proven framework that has been tested in the market, that all the Agile practitioners at an enterprise level have access to and can criticize, and that has pretty simple core values. And the core values that we are talking about are program execution, the ability to execute at a massive level of hundreds of people, alignment to the mission of the organization, producing quality code, and creating transparency at a large scale in terms of teams and geographies and all that. So that's a simple reason for doing Y. You can start at a blank slate, or you can use this framework to move forward. I'll also pause for a second and see if there are any questions, and if there are questions, I'll take them as they come. Okay. A little bit of information on the basics and the flow of how SAFe has come into play. I would say there are 3 routes for Scaled Agile Framework. One is Agile, then there is product development flow, which is the concepts of creating flow for the development of product features, and then there is Lean, which comes from Toyota, as probably all of you all know. And based on the experiences and the experiments done, there was a version 1 in 2012, and that's what I worked with initially. Then we moved to version 2, and finally now we're in version 3, and here's the Scaled Agile Framework, version 3. And maybe some of you have already read this, but I'll just cover it briefly for people who don't know. There's a team level where all the teams are part of one program, and so that's the program and team level over here. The program consists of what is called as an Agile Release Train concept, and the Agile Release Train runs for a period called the program increment for 8 to 12 weeks. And the Agile Release Train follows the mission and the vision laid down by the portfolio, and it's as simple as that. There are a few new roles in this framework, and all those roles mean there is opportunities for you. Now the next question I was posing was why SPC? And the reason to look at SPC as a certification is if you feel that you have graduated personally from your current level of certification as a Scrum Master or a Project Manager, PMP, or a Project Manager, Agile Certified Professional, ACP, or one of the professional Scrum Managers, or a Kanban Manager, and you want to work with large number of companies and you feel that you're ready to scale up, then the only dominant industry certification right now is the SPC, or the Scaled Agile Framework Program Consultant. And this certification allows you to work at a program level, which is this whole level in terms of teams. And now you can work with this whole teams. You can create the structure of the Agile Release Train. You can help companies to understand the complexities of launching this kind of a train, and then you can help teams to organize around them, and you can coach the Scrum Masters, the product owners, and the developers to build quality code. The third question I answered is a very interesting question, which is why India? And I would say that the main reason is that based on what I'm seeing in terms of statistics and numbers and industry outlook, India is going to be the dominant scale agile player in the world. Maybe US will continue to be the leader, but then India will be a very close second. Right now, I'd say there are close to about 1,000 SPCs all over the world. About 750 to maybe 800 are from the US. And then the second country in this list is India, with close to about 100 SPCs. I'm personally happy to say that I've trained and mentored and helped to certify more than 20 to 25% of these students. I run SPC classes every other month all over India. And the people who take SPC classes with me have a 95% pass rate. And that's just a phenomenal way for you to get sure that you'll get your certification for the investment and the energy you're going to do. There are SPC opportunities around the world also, and we can talk about that. If people are interested, please pose questions, and I will respond to that. But I think that the dominant opportunity is in India. All right. Moving forward to talk a little bit about what does a program consultant do, and just to talk about first the program level of SAFe, and then how an SPC or a SAFe program consultant works. The program level, as you can see, consists of self-managing team of agile teams. They work in increments of 2 weeks or sprints, as you're aware, and the overall length of their program increment is usually between 8 to 12 weeks. They are aligned to a common mission via a single backlog, and you can see this icon over here for the program backlog. All the teams in the train, all the teams have the same sprint length, and the recommendation is for 2 weeks. Just give me a minute to confirm my internet connectivity. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, so all the teams have the same sprint length, and then this is the most interesting aspect, which is they all follow the same estimation pattern. If you are working with your agile teams, you're probably coaching them to estimate, and you are unable to compare the estimation numbers given to you between two teams. And that means that you as an agile coach and as an agile consultant will not be able to answer the question that your customer asks you or your boss asks you, which is, when will this large project get done? In SAFe, not only do all the teams follow the same sprint length, which is recommended at 2 weeks, we also follow what is called as normalized estimation technique. And eventually, all the stories done by all the teams and all the features done by that team of teams follow the same estimation pattern, and prediction of the work at a large scale level becomes much easier. The next thing that I was talking to you about was the release planning, and we have a 2-day release planning event every 8 to 12 weeks, and the reason for this is to provide an opportunity, and that opportunity is through the cadence of 8 to 12 weeks, for synchronization, alignment, and collaboration. And this means that we assume that the team of teams will get out of sync, and it's important to bring them together, important to share the vision of the single backlog for all of them, to give them an opportunity to meet with the product owners and product managers face-to-face, to estimate the requirements, to break them down, and to understand what it takes to actually do the work before committing to the work in the 2-day release planning event. In addition to all the team members, we also require the business or the product management team to be there face-to-face. We also require all other people or resources that are part of this train. So if you have people in user experience or architecture or product management or infrastructure, security, release management, you name it, they're all part of the Agile Release Trains release planning event. So if you have questions, comments, clarifications to make, and dependencies or risks that you want to talk about, everyone is available to you for those 2 days. You'll see that there is a unique role at the Agile Release Train level, and that's called the Release Train Engineer. This is the person that coordinates and drives the whole Agile Release Train and facilitates the 2-day release planning event. That's all for the Agile at a program level. If you have questions, please continue to post them, and I'll respond to some of these questions. A little bit about the benefits of doing SAFe. I would say the first one is increased employee engagement. I think all companies are worried about talent and how to motivate and retain talent. Next one is how to increase productivity. and the case studies from customers that are doing SAFe said that. The third one is to provide quality for the product, and the case studies from SAFe say that there is a 50% plus defect reduction. Finally, what the business wants, which is faster time to market. And the case studies that we will talk about in SAFe, as you can see here, show a tremendous increase in responsiveness to customers and meeting their demands. Some of the customers that are part of the Scale Agile Framework's case study list, and you can see them all online, are John Deere, TradeStation, Discount Tire, SEI, Telstra, Mitchell, BMC Software, and Valpak. And pretty soon, you'll see many, many others coming on this list. Well, other than that, I'm open to questions, and I would like to hear from all of you all. If you have questions about career opportunities, workshops, or other questions, or if you want to connect with me, please email webinars@knowledgehut.com, and we'll come back to you as soon as possible. The next two SPC classes are in Hyderabad and Bangalore. The Hyderabad class starts on February 23rd, Monday. It goes on for 4 days. And then we also have the 5th day as an optional Business of SAFe Consulting workshop. The class in Bangalore is in the month of May. It will be either May 18th, Monday, or May 19th, Tuesday. It's another 4-day class. And then there's the optional workshop on the Business of SAFe Consulting. And if you're interested in any of these two, please reach out to webinars@knowledgehut.com. There's a lot of material for you to look at on their basic website. I said it's scaleagileframework.com. I would absolutely encourage you to go through the release planning abstract. This will be really useful for you. And during our SPC classes, we'll do a full half-day simulation of the release planning, and that's something that everyone that comes to our class really loves, to understand how the planning is done. Well, that's all for me, and so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and then I'll answer the questions. All right, here's a great question. How to adopt Scale Agile Framework in an organization? Well, that's the most important thing that you are here for. And if you decide to move forward and take this certification class, we will train you on how to help an organization adopt Scale Agile Framework. In short, there are two types of scenarios. One is that your company is already doing Agile, or your customer is already doing Agile at a team level, and now you need to bring them together. The second possibility is they're doing waterfall, and it's a large program. Usually it's a new program, and they want your help in adopting Scale Agile Framework. Now, if the first scenario happens, I would say that your first challenge is to work with all the existing teams, and specifically to work with the Scrum Master, the product owner, the release management team, and maybe even the dev managers, to find out from them if they are open to doing this new method and new framework. If your situation is the second one, which I said is a new program that your organization is used to doing waterfall and now wants to try this, I think that you have a huge challenge, and you need to be well prepared and well armed, and it would be important to go through the certification but also understand the nitty-gritties of how to do this and the challenges and how to avoid the pitfalls. I would say there are 2 or 3 key steps. First is you have to understand what is the program backlog, and what is the train or the team of teams going to do, and how to put this together. And you can see that this program backlog consists of business stories and architectural stories. The second challenge is to organize these teams. They might be in a different fashion. They might be operating in different sprints. They may not be fully dedicated. And so those challenges are something that you need to arrange. The third thing is to actually set up the whole infrastructure and setup for Scaled Agile Framework. You need to find a release train engineer, or that could be you. You need to create a system team to take care of all the integration challenges. You need to organize the release planning event. You need to decide what is the length of your PI, which could be 8 to 12 weeks. You need to decide when the team starts the sprint, ends the sprint. You might have to decide and help who is the Scrum Master, who is the product owner. So there is just a lot of things that you need to do to enable this. Let me move on to the next question just to help people get an understanding of more detail. And this question comes from Kamalraj, so thank you for your question. Here are a list of all the clients that have currently adopted Scaled Agile Framework and have decided to give permission to talk about their case studies. I would say, from my understanding, the biggest customer is Capital One Bank. They actually have multiple people working in India on this particular Agile Release Train. They in fact have, I would say, close to 40 programs or 40 trains running right now, and more than 600 teams when I last checked. Next to that, I would say, is John Deere. I heard that they have close to 1,000 people working on this. They're in the Caterpillar business of making heavy machinery for industry and farming. The other companies, as you can see on this page, are Telstra, the Australian telecom company, TradeStation, which is a technology company for software. And I would say that examples of programs that have used Scaled Agile Framework, I'd say there are two types. One is enterprise applications, so all the regular financial, human resources, and other applications. But the dominant percentage of Agile Release Trains that I see come from the digital, mobile, social analytics, the SMAC space. And they are very open to adopting SAFe as a large-scale program implementation technique. I'm not sure what is the program you're working or trying to adopt, but I would say use these examples, go through these case studies, come to the class. I would definitely recommend that for you, and take it from there and see how it goes. The business of SAFe SPC consulting seminar will also tell you how to actually implement it and how to avoid the pitfalls of consulting. Okay, I'll wait for a couple of minutes for other questions, and I hope that you've had a good time on this webinar. I'll look for a general question. Yes, Knowledgehut offers PDUs for these webinars. Just email Knowledgehut for the information on how to claim your PDUs. All right, folks, I don't think we have any more questions. Let's, as I said, please email webinar to meeting or meeting. Thank you. Training in May? No, not as of now. I think some training will be in Bangalore in a few days, or if you want to plan for a later time, then please come to Bangalore. Okay? Thank you.